Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are doing another fantasy book haul, which I'm, of course, very excited about. I've been really enjoying making these book-related videos lately. I think I've just been watching too much BookTube. Noodle is already confused as to why I am here talking about myself, so here she is. But yeah, I'm actually probably in another week or two going to be recording like a yearly wrap-up of all the books I've read. I just want to finish like 2 more books, but I'm doing it potentially in November rather than December or January because I kind of started reading again last November, so I figured it'd make the most sense to do it then, so yeah. Hopefully that'll be up soon, but yeah, about this book haul. So as I do, I was just kind of slowly acquiring books from traveling around or going to sales, as it usually goes. Well, a few days ago, I went to this place in town that I had just heard of, and I'm afraid it's only like a local sort of thing, like a volunteer sort of situation, but it's like this warehouse filled with books, and all the paperbacks are 50 cents. They had a big sci-fi and fantasy section. I don't read sci-fi, but we know how I am with fantasy. I wiped it out just a little bit. I tried to limit myself. I'll probably be back soon enough. But yeah, all the paperbacks were 50 cents. That's all I got. If I did get any hardbacks, they were like $1, so like really freaking good. I of course left them a fair sized tip, or donation, not a tip, because it's a volunteer sort of situation. So I ended up getting 16 books from that, and I figured, well, I think we're about ready for another book haul video already. And just because they're on the top of my pile right here, I think we actually will be starting with the books I got from that warehouse. And the first is Assassin's Apprentice, or The Farseer Assassin's Apprentice. My cats are sprinting around my living room. My apologies. By Robin Hobb. Now, I had heard about this series, this book, and I had heard it was pretty good, so I saw it there and I was like, it's 50 cents, I might as well. Don't know when I'll get around to it, but I'll go ahead and read the back for you guys. Young Fitz is the bastard son of the noble Prince Chivalry, raised in the shadow of the royal court by his father's gruff stablemen. He is treated as an outcast by all the royalty except the devious King Shrewd, these are some names, who has him secretly tutored in the arts of the assassin. For in Fitz's blood runs the magic skill, and the darker knowledge of a child raised with the stable hounds and rejected by his family. As barbarous raiders ravage the coast, Fitz is growing to manhood. Soon he will face his first dangerous, soul-shattering mission, and though some regard him as a threat to the throne, he may just be the key to the survival of the kingdom. I was really trying to find some standalones whenever I was there, but I kind of failed in that, because we have another series. I'm pretty sure, like, all of these are series. I have a lot of series to go through. But yeah, I'm excited to try that out. I've never read this author before, so... but I've heard good things. Then we have another book that I believe is part of a trilogy. This one I hadn't heard before, I just kind of saw it and thought it looked interesting, so I figured I might as well. It's called The Wayfarer Redemption by Sarah Douglas. And from its summary it says, for 1,000 years the Acarites have lived prosperous lives, protected by vast and insurmountable mountains, and the powerful Seneschal, guardians of the mysterious way of the plow, and intermediaries with the great god Artor. Already got a lot of names going on. But now Akar's security is threatened as a millennial-old prophecy predicting the return of the Forbidden Ones flares into life. An unnatural winter grips the land of the Ice Lord Gorgrail, moves his armies of demonic wraiths and ice worms south. Akar crumbles under Gorgrail's murderous onslaught. It seems that no one can stop him. Faraday, betrothed of Warkor's warlord, Duke Bornheld, is as frightened as everyone else. While fleeing to the safety with Axis, legendary leader of the Axe-wielders and hated half-brother of Bornheld, Faraday learns that all she's been taught about her people's history has been based on lies. Leaving the company of Axis, a man she secretly loves, although it would mean his death to reveal it, Faraday embarks on a journey that will forever change both her life and those of her people. I am hoping I enjoy this. I'm always a little bit skeptical whenever romance is involved, but obviously we have some of that, but I don't know, it's a prophecy, like northern vibes. I like that sort of stuff. I know some people aren't into like prophecies and the chosen ones, you know, that whole thing, but I like it, so. I don't know, a bit of a gamble on that one. Let me know if you've ever read it and if I might enjoy it. Then next we actually have part of a rather large series. Another one, oh god. I feel like I have kind of heard about it, but not a whole lot. I've at least seen it around. But that would be the Lord of the Isles series by David Drake. I believe, I know I don't have them in order, I'm like missing one of them. Okay, so yeah, I'm missing book 4. But I have 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. So these are all the books that I have, but we will just focus on Lord of the Isles for now since it's the first one. The back is fairly short and simple. With Lord of the Isles, David Drake returns to fantasy with a towering and complex epic of heroic adventure set in an extraordinary and colorful world where the elemental forces that empower magic are rising to a 1,000-year peak. In the days following an unusually severe storm, the inhabitants of a tiny seaport town travel toward romance, danger, and astonishing magic that will transform them and their world. So once again, very vague on this one, so another bit of a gamble, but once again, 50 cents. Actually, the dude didn't even do his math right. It should have been $8, but he said 6, but I was giving him a donation anyway, so just didn't worry about it. So I don't know why I went ahead and just got another big series whenever it's my goal this next year to finish just the Dritz series, pretty much. Like, maybe hopefully read some other books on top of that, but it's like I have so many long series, and yet every time I see another one, I'm like, intriguing. So maybe someday I'll actually get around to them all, huh? But let me know if you've read that. Then the next, once again, series that I picked up, I know a lot of you have probably read, and that would be a little chunk of the Wheel of Time series. I think we're only missing book 2. Obviously there's books after that. Likewise with the other series, there might be. Not really sure how many books are in that one, but I know there's a lot in the Wheel of Time series. I know you guys, a couple of you have suggested this series to me, and I'm very excited for this. I'm hoping I can get to it soon enough. But yes, once again, we will just read the back of The Eye of the World. The Wheel of Time turns and ages come and go, leaving memories that become legend. Legend fades to myth, and even myth is long forgotten when the age that gave its birth returns again. In the Third Age, an age of prophecy, the world of time themselves hang in the balance. What was, what will be, and what is may yet fall under shadow. So, and then it has like a bunch of reviews under that, so it's a little bit, you know, vague still, but I've heard a lot of good things about the series. I know a lot of people are huge fans of it. I'm very intimidated by it because these books, they're thick and the print, minuscule. So it's certainly intimidating, but I'm very excited to get into it. I'm very happy about finding these two, by the way, for 50 cents each, because I know, like at my local new bookstore, I can only find these in hardback, but each of the hardbacks, $30 a piece. That doesn't work too well with big series. And a cheap-ass bitch. So I'm hoping slowly I'll just be able to kind of acquire it for cheap, as I try to do. I know I'm probably being judged for how many books I buy, but listen, you slowly acquire them over time for cheap, rather than once you need the book, you have to go out for it and just pay whatever full price you can find. Much better this way. And also it lets me build my cool library. Wizard vibes. Gotta have some books around, you know? And up next we, of course, have some Salvatore. We know how it goes. I might as well just try to get all of his books at this point. But this one, I had actually found book 2 of this series at Half Price Books, the first Half Price Books I ever went to. And I was just really excited because I found something by Salvatore, but then like all the ones I went to after that had like plenty of Salvatore stuff, but most of it was Dritz. I don't find too much of his other stuff. Like the Cleric Quintet I had to order offline, which I try to usually avoid doing, like I just said, but I wanted to read it then, so. But yeah, this is actually the last part of the Demon Wars saga. Well, this is the 7th book. So, I have a few more to catch up, but yeah. I'm like, I don't even know if I should read the back, because I don't want to spoil it too much for myself. It's Salvatore, so I'm hoping I like it. That being said, Cleric Quintet is alright. But I'll talk more about that in my little wrap-up video, like, hopefully in a week or 2. Maybe 3. And then we have a duplicate, actually, because, once again, it's Salvatore, it's Dritz, and it's the first book. Well, it's the 4th book in the series now, but it's the first one he wrote. It's the Crystal Shard. This is where it all began, so finding the original book with the original art makes me so happy. I have book 5, pretty sure, yeah, 5. There's so many books, but, I have book 5 in the original variant, so I'm glad to have found book 4. And I'll go ahead and read the back of it, because all of you should read this. I love Dritz. Could you tell? So there's gonna be a loud car around, like how rude. I'm trying to read stuff. The joys of living in a complex. A Carkessel, a weak-willed apprentice mage, sets in motion events leading to the rediscovery of the magical device, the Crystal Shard. But is it merely an inanimate device, or is it capable of directing the defeat of 10 towns? Or have the barbarians already arranged for that themselves? Their brutal attack on the villages of 10 towns seals their fate, and that of the young barbarian Wulfgar. Left for dead, Wulfgar is rescued by the dwarf, Brunor, in exchange for the 5 years of service and friendship. With the help of the Dark Elf Drizzt, Brunor reshapes Wulfgar into a warrior with both brawn and brains. But is Wulfgar strong enough to reunite the barbarian tribes? Can an unorthodox dwarf and renegade Dark Elf persuade the people of 10 towns to put aside their petty differences in time to stave off forces of the Crystal Shard? And the Crystal Shard is second in a series of novels based on the Forgotten Realms fantasy settings. The first book in a second series. I don't know what the other series they're talking about is, but out of all the Forgotten Realms books, I'm pretty sure Drizzt became the most iconic. If you didn't know, Forgotten Realms is a D&D setting. I am a huge Dungeons & Dragons nerd. Even though we play in our own homebrewed world, still nice to read and kind of experience the actual settings of the game. So yeah, already read this, but nice to have the alternate cover. And speaking of D&D settings, I do actually have 2 books from the Dragonlance setting. The first one I have isn't by the main authors of Dragonlance, it's by Roland Green, and it's the Warriors series, and this is Knights of the Crown. It is the first volume, which is why I went ahead and got this. I like to try to pick up volume 1s whenever I can. I haven't read in the Dragonlance setting yet, but I'm very excited to. That's what I think I'm going to do after Drizzt. But I'll go ahead and read the back for you guys. The Knights of Solamnio, I guess that's how you pronounce it, were the greatest order of chivalry in the history of Krynn. All those who wish to become Solamnic Knights, that's so hard for me to say, must first enter as squires of the Knights of the Crown, with whom they begin their training in the virtue of loyalty. This is the story of Sir Pervin the Wayward, whose reluctant and inauspicious beginnings as Pervin the Spell Thief bore few clues to his potential as a Knight of the Crown. And then it just kind of talks about the author a little bit, but I love some good knights and chivalry and all that business, so it sounds pretty good to me. Once again, haven't really heard anyone talking about it or anything. I think I just read too much, like, old fantasy. Like, I'm sure most of these were published before 2000s. Yes, 1995. I seem to read a lot of stuff from the 90s, but I just kind of like old campy fantasy. I know I've said it before, but maybe I'll get to newer stuff eventually, I don't know. And then we actually have the Dragonlance Chronicles, Volume 2, which is Dragons of Winter Night by Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman, who are I'm pretty sure they are the creators of Dragonlance. And this is like the main series for it. But I actually did already have this, which I'm going to get to next, actually. I guess I did that in an awkward order. Anyway, this is once again the older art, so I thought it was cool. I'm so bad about that. I'm a collector, if you couldn't tell. It's kind of a problem sometimes, but it also means I can, like, lend out the different variants, and if they don't come back, I don't have to worry about it so much. I hate when that happens. I think I can go ahead and read the back of this book to you guys. Dragons, creatures of legend, stories told to children. But now dragons have returned to Krynn. The darkness of war and destruction engulfs the land. A small band of heroes brings hope to the land, but the hope is fragile as a rose, and may be completely, or may be lost completely, shattered by the bitter winds of winter. Knight and barbarian, warrior and half-elf, dwarf and kinder, and dark-souled mage, they began a perilous search for 2 artifacts that may help them or lead to their destruction: the Dragon Orb and the legendary Dragon Lance. So, I just really like books with adventuring parties and whatnot because, like I said, huge D&D nerd. It makes me happy. It's kind of the vibe I'm hoping I can go with my own series someday. But yeah, that's actually the last of the books I got from that warehouse. I was so happy about it. But as I was saying, I actually recently did pick up that book already, just the newer variant, which matches the first volume that I have. But this and the next book I actually got at the cutest little bookstore while I was on vacation. It's in a town called Canyon in the panhandle of Texas, and it's just called, oh no, what is it called? I can't look it up because it's on my phone. I'll put it here because I'm sure I'll remember to be able to look it up while I'm editing, and also just some pictures of it because it was so cute. It's like, you know, those old westerny, like, town strips where all the buildings are together and there's, like, you know, the cowboys shooting off. That's a good description. Anyways, it's in a building kind of like that, and it's... You walk in. They have like a couple of birds over there. The nice lady that was working played a video for the birds because she was telling us about them, and apparently they like to watch YouTube. They started chirping as soon as the video went. It was so cute. But there's a bunch of shelves, like it's a bunch of used books mostly. This one was new, but the kids section. You go in it through a little wardrobe. At least you can. I don't know. It was a really adorable place. I wish I had a cute place like that around, but at least I have a warehouse full of really cheap books, I guess. Anyway, I had already picked this up whenever I was out on vacation, so what can you do? And then the other book I picked up from that bookshop was The Mists of Avalon. Once again, I'd seen this book around. I don't think I've ever really heard anyone talking about it, but it's basically a retelling of Arthurian legends, but from the women's point of view, which I think is really interesting. I'm a woman, and I'd like to get more into like Arthurian legends and whatnot. I feel like the extent that I'm really familiar with them is Monty Python. And you know, of course I know some basics because I'm a fantasy nerd, but I haven't actually read anything involving it. So I have this big old chunk. Oh, I forgot to even say the author name. It is by Marion Zimmer Bradley. I'm trying to drop my book. Here's the magical legend of King Arthur, vividly retold through the eyes and lives of the women who wielded power from behind the throne. There's the darkly bewitching Morgane, half-sister to Arthur and a high priestess in the enchanted land of Avalon, where women rule as the creators of life and keepers of knowledge. For Morgane, is it Morgan or Morgane? See, I don't even know how to pronounce their names, because I just always read them, I never really hear them. For Morgane, there is but one quest: to wrest Britain away from Christianity, the new religion which views women as the carriers of original sin, and to return to the worship of the mother goddess. The fair and lovely Queen Guinevere, yeah, it's just spelled weird. I usually see it spelled the other way. No, it's Guinevere. Guinevere's the cat. At least that's how I pronounce it. I hope that the panther isn't called Guinevere. I call her Guinevere. Anyway, the fair and lovely Queen Guinevere is torn between her duty to her king and the new god, and her passion for the dashing Lancelot. Both women struggle and suffer, and both in their own extraordinary ways triumph. So I hope this is good. And now the last few books I did get from my favorite local bookstore. Though the warehouse may have beaten them out just because of prices, but I still love this place. They have frequent sales, what can I say? But they were having a buy one and get one free sale recently, and I had noticed that Ryder had his eye on this Pathfinder 2 Bestiary. It was used, it was like $20, it was also buy one get one free, so went ahead and got it for us. Like I said, we are mostly D&D players, but one of our friends does run Pathfinder for us every now and then, so having the Bestiary would be very useful for her to be able to DM, so went ahead and picked that up. And for free, this is kind of the third time that this book has been shown in this video, we actually have the Dragonlance Chronicles book 2, but in graphic novel format. And I think I've already showed off in the last video that I do have 2 of the Dritz graphic novels. I think that that is such a good idea for a long fantasy series like this to have graphic novels, because I don't know, if you go a while without reading the series, like say you're book like 31 in the Dritz series and you're like, oh, well, I remember book 1, but I could use a brush up, or book 2 or whatever. You can go back and read the graphic novels like super fast. It's super nice. So I'm hoping to find more of these, so I'm just acquiring them when I see them, even though I haven't read the actual book of this yet. So I definitely won't read this yet because I like to read the book first. I am excited to have it for the future. And then last but not least, I did get another book in the Shannara series. I don't remember what book this is, or what number it is. I can tell what book it is. It looks like it's book 7, but I'm not sure if it's part of its own little quintet, or if you need to read the original trilogy first. I'm gonna read the original trilogy first, but we have The Talismans of Shannara, book 4 of the Heritage of Shannara, of course by Terry Brooks. Still haven't read Shannara. That's one of the ones I'm hoping to get done within this next year, at least the first trilogy, but we shall see. I have a lot of Dritz to get through. But yeah, I've heard mixed things about the Shannara series, but it's kind of one of those, like, I don't know, I'm trying to read a lot of fantasy, so a lot of varied fantasy. Of course, I'm reading a lot of older stuff right now, which I should probably mix up, but it looks interesting. This was like $2, $3? I don't remember, but it was a hardback, so I couldn't complain. I went ahead and got it. But yeah, that is all the books from this haul. I'm very excited to get to them, so there's just not enough time in the world, you know what I mean? But if you enjoyed this and would like me to continue making book videos, don't forget to leave this video a like. I am having a lot of fun doing this. I'm having a lot of fun reading through all these books. I'm so glad I got back into it. And I would definitely like to do more book-related videos if you guys were interested. I might just do them anyway. But it seems like you guys are enjoying it. I like talking about books with you guys in the comments. So, yeah, definitely let me know if you have read any of these and if they're good. No spoilers, of course, but yeah, anything else you might recommend too. I have a few things that I'm trying to keep an eye out for, but recommend me some, like, newer series too, you know? I need to get around to reading newer books. I've heard a lot of stuff about, like the Mistborn series. I don't know if that's even newer, but I keep hearing about it, so I'm, like, looking for that soon. But yeah, like I said, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to leave it a like. Maybe consider supporting my Ko-fi or Patreon if you want to help out the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!